Have you ever felt that pull? You know, wanting to change something, maybe eat better, will be more productive, start that thing you keep putting off.
Oh, absolutely.
But then you look at your actual day and it just feels stuck. Like getting from here to there is just impossible.
Yeah, that feeling is so common. We all have these aspirations, right? These future versions of ourselves. But actually doing it consistently, that's the hard part. People try, maybe fail a few times.
And then it feels like all that effort was just, well, wasted.
Exactly, which is why we wanted to really get into this material we've been looking at. It offers this structured, almost mechanical way to think about habits.
And what struck me first was how it pushes back against that wasted effort feeling. Talks of the thing called the plateau of latent potential.
Yes. It's such a good way to frame it. It argues against that frustration you feel when you don't see results right away. Think about an ice cube.
Okay.
So you've got this ice cube, right? And you're heating the room. The temperature goes up. 25 degrees, 26, 30, 31. And what do you see?
It's still an ice cube. Nothing's changed. Feels like the heat's doing nothing.
Precisely. But the energy is building up. It's latent potential. Then, the moment it hits 32 degrees...
Boom. It melts. Instantly.
Right. The breakthrough seems sudden, but it was all that work, all that heating from 25 to 31 degrees. That made it possible. It wasn't wasted.
So when people finally achieve something big, like, I don't know, finishing a marathon or mastering a skill, it looks like an overnight success to others.
Yeah, they only see the 32-degree moment, not the long slog beforehand. That effort was accumulating, getting ready for the breakthrough.
Okay, so that's a key starting point. Consistency matters,
Right.
even when you can't see the results yet. But this deep dive goes further. It says the real core of changing behavior isn't about goals, actually. It's about identity.
This is where it gets really, really interesting. It's less about what you want to get, like more money or better health, and more about who you want to become.
So shifting from outcome-based habits, like I want to lose 10 pounds.
To identity-based habits. Like, I want to be the type of person who moves their body regularly.
Okay, why is that shift so important?
Well, because fundamentally, our behavior tends to reflect who we believe we are. Your identity shapes your actions. If you think, I'm just not a morning person, it's incredibly hard to build a habit of waking up early, right? It feels wrong.
It clashes with your self-image.
Yeah.
And the source talks about pride, doesn't it? Like, if you take pride in your garden.
You'll weed it, even when you don't feel like it. If you pride yourself on being punctual, you make the effort to be on time. That pride reinforces the habits.
And this leads to the idea of votes. Every action is a vote.
Exactly. Every single action you take is like casting a vote for the type of person you want to be.
So going for a run is a vote for I am a runner.
Right. Or choosing water over soda is a vote for I am healthy. Practicing an instrument, even for 5 minutes, is a vote for I am a musician.
So these tiny actions, they're not just about the task itself. They're building proof.
Yeah.
Evidence for this identity you're aiming for.
Precisely. It's not about one single vote defining you. It's the accumulation over time. As the votes stack up, the evidence changes, and that story you tell yourself about who you are, it starts to shift.
Which means you don't have to be perfect. A few bad votes don't ruin everything if most votes are reinforcing the identity you want.
Exactly. So the process becomes, well, kind of simple. 2 steps. 1, decide who you want to be. 2, prove it to yourself with small wins. Cast those votes every day.
It takes the focus off, like gritting your teeth with willpower, and puts it on just acting like the person you want to be.
And the really empowering part is that identity isn't fixed. You choose which identity you reinforce with your habits today, tomorrow, every day.
Okay, identity is the foundation. Super powerful. But how do these habits actually work? Like the nuts and bolts. Our source breaks down this anatomy of a habit, a 4-stage loop.
Yeah, this loop is the engine behind every habit. It's cue, craving, response, reward. Every single time.
All right, let's walk through it. Cue first. That's the trigger.
It's the little hint that tells your brain, hey, reward potentially available. Could be seeing food, could be your phone buzzing, could be walking into a certain room.
And the cue sparks the craving.
Right. And the craving isn't usually for the action itself, but for the feeling or the state change you expect from the reward. You don't crave scrolling. You crave the distraction or entertainment it might bring.
You don't crave the push-up, you crave the feeling of getting stronger, maybe.
Exactly. You anticipate the feeling, which then leads to the response.
The actual habit.
Yeah.
Lacing up your shoes, opening the app, whatever it is.
Yep. And finally, the reward. This does 2 things. It satisfies that craving, gives you the feeling you wanted, and crucially, it teaches your brain. That loop Cue, craving, response. It worked. Remember it.
It closes the loop, and the source is clear. If any stage is weak, the habit just fizzles out.
Totally. No cue, no start, no craving. Why bother? Response too hard, you won't do it. Reward unsatisfying, you won't repeat it.
But understanding this loop gives us handles, right? Ways to actually change habits. Which brings us to the 4 laws of behavior change.
Exactly. Each law targets one stage of that loop. For good habits, you want to make the cue obvious, the craving attractive, the response easy, and the reward satisfying.
And for bad habits, you flip it. Make the cue invisible, the craving unattractive, the response difficult, and the reward unsatisfying.
Simple framework, incredibly powerful in practice.
Okay, let's break down Law 1. Make it obvious, and its opposite, make it invisible. This tackles the cue. It starts with just awareness, right?
Absolutely. You can't change what you don't notice. So things like the habits scorecard exercise, literally writing down your daily habits, can be eye-opening.
Or that pointing and calling thing, like train conductors saying actions out loud.
Yeah, it forces unconscious actions into your conscious mind. Signal is green, makes you aware.
And the source emphasizes how visual we are. Our environment is just full of these visual cues pushing and pulling us.
Which leads straight into environment design. You can consciously shape your space to make good cues obvious and bad cues, well, less obvious.
Like stores putting candy at the checkout. That's making the cue obvious.
Exactly. Or think about how easy it is to grab coffee if there's a Starbucks on every corner. Availability shapes behavior. If you want to read more, put a book on your pillow. Make the cue unmissable.
This also explains why changing habits is sometimes easier in a new place. You escape the old triggers. Like that Vietnam War study.
Well, that's a striking example. Soldiers who were heavily using heroin in Vietnam, surrounded by cues like stress, access, social norms.
They just stopped when they got home.
The vast majority, yeah. Almost 9 out of 10 quit virtually overnight. The environment changed completely. The cues vanished. It wasn't just about willpower.
So self-control isn't necessarily about having superhuman discipline.
It's often about creating a disciplined environment where you need less self-restraint because you're not fighting temptations constantly. Make good cues obvious, make bad cues invisible.
Got it. Okay, Law 2. Make it attractive and make it unattractive. This targets the craving.
Right. And cravings are often driven by dopamine, especially the anticipation of a reward. Think about scrolling social media. The anticipation of finding something interesting can be more compelling than what you actually find.
That little dopamine hit keeps you coming back. So how do we make good habits, the ones we need to do, more attractive?
One really neat trick is temptation bundling. You link something you want to do with something you need to do.
Okay, how does that work? Is there a formula?
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. After I do current habit I already do, I will do habit I need. After I do habit I need, I will do habit I want.
Okay, give me an example.
Okay. After I pour my morning coffee, current, I will meditate for 1 minute, need. After I meditate for 1 minute, I will check the news.
So the want habit becomes the reward for doing the need habit.
Exactly. It makes the need habit the gateway to something you're already looking forward to. It makes it more attractive.
Makes sense. What else makes habits attractive?
Social influence is huge. We naturally imitate people around us, our friends, family, the culture we're in. Remember those conformity studies? People denying what they see just to fit in.
Yeah, the Ash experiment. Wild.
We want approval, respect. So if you join a group where your desired behavior is the norm, like a hiking club, if you want to hike more, that behavior instantly becomes more attractive. It's just what the group does.
Find your tribe, basically.
Kind of, yeah. And another technique is reframing, changing how you think about a habit. Instead of thinking, ugh, I have to go exercise.
Reframe it as, I get to build strength, or I get to clear my head.
Exactly. Or saving money isn't deprivation, it's building future freedom. That simple shift in perspective can change how attractive the anticipation feels.
Okay, obvious cues, attractive cravings. Now for the response itself. Law 3, make it easy and make it difficult.
This one is all about action. And the key insight here is that repetition matters more than perfection, especially at the start. You're literally rewiring your brain. Neurons that fire together, wire together, right?
So it's about frequency, not necessarily duration, to make it automatic.
Yes. The more times you perform the habit, the easier and more automatic it gets. So how do you increase frequency? You reduce friction.
Make it as easy as possible to do the thing. Less steps between you and the habit.
Exactly. Want to go to the gym? Choose one on your way home from work. Reduce the travel hassle. Want to floss? Put the floss right next to your toothbrush. Minimize the effort.
It's like removing obstacles.
Precisely. And a fantastic way to do this is the 2-minute rule.
Oh yeah, scale it down.
Scale any new habit down so the very first step takes less than 2 minutes. Read every day becomes read 1 page. Run 3 miles becomes put on my running shoes.
You're not trying to do the whole habit in 2 minutes.
No. You're mastering the start, the decisive moment. Because once you've read 1 page, maybe you'll read 2. Once your shoes are on, you're way more likely to actually go run. Make starting ridiculously easy.
And the opposite, make bad habits difficult, is about increasing friction.
Right. Want to watch less TV, take the batteries out of the remote, leave your phone in another room when you need to focus, add steps, make it inconvenient.
This is where commitment devices fit in, right? Making a choice now to make the bad habit harder later.
Exactly. Like Victor Hugo locking away his clothes so he couldn't go out and had to write. Or buying snacks in small individual packages instead of a giant bag. You pre-commit to making it harder to overindulge.
And automating habits works here too.
Definitely. Setting up automatic savings transfers is a classic. You make one decision now, and the good habit happens automatically later. Or using website blockers, technology can be great for this.
Though it can automate bad habits too, like Netflix autoplay.
True. The principle works both ways. Use automation and commitment to make good habits easy and bad habits hard.
Okay, final law. We've made it obvious, attractive, easy. Now, law 4. Make it satisfying and make it unsatisfying. This links to the reward.
And this one is crucial. The source calls it the cardinal rule of behavior change. What is immediately rewarded gets repeated. What is immediately punished gets avoided.
Seems simple, but why is it tricky?
Because our brains evolved in an immediate return world. Eat berry, feel good. Touch fire, feel pain. Instant feedback.
But now we live in a delayed return world. The reward for exercise is maybe months or years away. Saving money pays off decades later.
Exactly. But the reward for eating junk food, instant. The reward for scrolling instead of working, instant relief from boredom. And guess which one usually wins?
Instant gratification. Always tempting.
So for good habits with delayed benefits, you need to find a way to inject some immediate satisfaction. You need to feel good now for doing the right thing.
How do you do that? How do you make, say, not spending money feel immediately good?
Habit tracking is a surprisingly powerful way. Just the simple act of marking off a task on a calendar or moving a paperclip from one jar to another.
That feels good.
It does. It provides immediate visual feedback. It creates a satisfying little check moment. It shows you're making progress. You're keeping the streak alive. You don't want to break the chain.
And it reinforces that identity again, right? Seeing the proof that you cast your vote.
Exactly. It's a small, immediate reward that keeps you going while the long-term benefits are still accumulating.
But there's a warning here, too. Goodhart's law.
Yes. When a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measure. Basically, don't get so obsessed with the tracker, the number, the streak that you forget the reason you're doing the habit.
Like hitting your step count by just shaking your Fitbit.
Right. The tracker is a tool to support the habit, not the goal itself. Keep the purpose in mind.
Okay. And for the flip side, make bad habits unsatisfying. You need an immediate cost.
Yes, if you want to stop doing something, make sure there's an immediate, unpleasant consequence. A habit contract can work well here.
That's like making a deal with someone.
Yeah, a verbal or written agreement. You state the habit you want to avoid and what the punishment will be if you slip up. And you need an accountability partner, like that example of the guy who had to pay his trainer or wear an embarrassing outfit if he didn't meet his weight goals.
Oof. That makes the consequence immediate and pretty undesirable.
Exactly. The pain needs to be felt now, not just vaguely sometime in the future.
And what about inevitable slip-ups? You miss a day.
That's okay, it happens. The key rule is never miss twice. Missing once is an anomaly. Missing twice is the start of a new, unwanted habit. Get back on track immediately the next day. Don't let one slip become a slide.
So those are the 4 big laws. But the source goes a bit further into refining habits, like finding the right ones for you.
Yeah, acknowledging that personality and even genetics play a role. Some things will just come easier to you than others. It suggests an explore-exploit approach. Try different things first, explore. See what clicks, what feels good, what fits your nature. Then, once you find it, double down, exploit.
Don't just copy someone else's habits blindly. Find your own game. Like the Scott Adams, the Dilbert guy example.
Perfect example. He said he wasn't the best artist or funniest writer or smartest business guy, but he was pretty good at all 3. He combined his average skills to create something unique where he could win.
Find your unique combination. Win by being different, not just better.
Right. And then there's the reality of pushing through boredom.
Ah, yeah. The shiny newness wears off.
Always does. Mastery requires practice, and practice eventually becomes routine, maybe even boring. The people who succeed are the ones who find a way to show up even when they don't feel like it, when the motivation isn't there.
Variable rewards can sometimes help with that, right? Like slot machines keeping things exciting because you never know when the payoff comes.
Yeah, unpredictability can maintain craving. The Goldilocks rule also applies tasks that are not too hard, not too easy, but just challenging enough tend to keep us engaged, that sweet spot of difficulty.
But fundamentally, it comes down to consistency, even when it's dull.
And the final piece for refinement is reflection and review. You have to look back.
Step back and see what's working, what's not.
Exactly. Like top athletes reviewing their performance tapes. Without reflection, you just repeat mistakes or make excuses. An annual review of your habits, your systems, asking, are these still serving the identity I want? That's incredibly valuable.
Okay, so bringing this all together, identity, the habit loop, the 4 laws, refining, what's the big picture on desire and action?
Well, it comes back to that idea that maybe happiness is the space between one desire being fulfilled and a new desire forming. It's maybe less about chasing the big goal and more about finding satisfaction in the process, in the doing.
Like Viktor Frankl said, happiness cannot be pursued, it must ensue.
Exactly. Desire gets you started, but it's the pleasure, the satisfaction from the action itself that keeps you going. Wanting initiates, but liking sustains.
So this deep dive really shows that changing your behavior isn't magic. It's a system.
It's understanding your habits are votes for who you are, driven by that cue, craving, response, reward loop.
And you've got these tools. The 4 laws make it obvious, attractive, easy, satisfying, and their opposites to actually design that system for yourself.
These aren't just ideas on a page. They're practical levers you can pull starting today to build habits that line up with the person you really want to be.
So maybe just take a second now and think about your current habits, the little things you do every day. What identity are those habits voting for right now?
And maybe what's one small vote, just one tiny adjustment using one of these laws that you can make today for the person you aspire to become?